By default, most of you guys already have your lineups together for the final game of week 1, this Monday night matchup, Bears and Vikings. We are busting out the rally caps to see what we need to win these matchups. Drop it in the comments below. We'll drop some good juju on you. What you need tonight to win your matchup, because that's what we're looking for. I'm going to cover this matchup. We're going to go over the game script, how fantasy points could be scored in this game, who could hit, who could not hit, by looking at the advanced analytics, the data, and the situation. Before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're covering every single game this year, deep diving it, seeing how fantasy points can be scored. We're going to help you set your lineups with rankings and also player battles. On top of that, we're going deeper than everybody else on the waiver wire, trying to find you those dandies so you can get them a week early so they're free instead of having to pay up for them when they hit the next week. Click that button. Stop missing out. But we got Bears and Vikings today. 43.5 over under. The last 3 games, the Vikings have scored 30, then 30, then 10. The Bears have put up 12, 27, and 12. We could see a decent scoring game here. I think it's up in the air. I think Vegas is trying to tell that to us when you're looking at the averages from the last 3 games. They're about dead nuts even on a lot of these numbers, which is funny. 103 rushing yards for both teams on average. So you should get over 100 yards rushing on average the last 3. So we should see something from these running backs. 230 passing yards. So nothing grandiose, but enough to get it done and give you some potential. That's what that's saying. When you think about the matchups here, you think about Caleb Williams, how he's a gunslinger, how they upgraded the offensive line, new coaching staff, Ben Johnson over from the Detroit Lions. You're looking at his weapons. You're looking at J.J. McCarthy, Justin Jefferson. You're looking at how that could go back and forth. You could definitely see fantasy points flying in this matchup. You see 2 young quarterbacks. That matchup could go array if they play like 2 young quarterbacks. It could be turnover city with one of these guys. It could get nasty. McCarthy's first start. And you're looking at Caleb Williams, who we're seeing if he can take a step forward. If not, it could be an ugly game for him nonetheless. But you're looking at these quarterbacks. Really, you just got 2 of them left for the week. More than likely, you made your start, but this is a decent matchup. When you're looking at Caleb Williams, he can give you some upside, but he can also be rather volatile. You're looking at how Minnesota treats quarterbacks, and it's not very good. Last season, they were well below average. Same thing with the Vikings. This could be a matchup where these 2 young quarterbacks have some problems. Last year, Caleb Williams against Minnesota, he went off in one game and was so-so with 13.9 fantasy points, and it's really depending on your format. So you probably got a 50-50 split on whether or not he hits or not. He is a very volatile player. He is. We see this. We saw this in preseason. We saw this in the training camp practices. There were runs at practices where he was throwing picks, and then there was other runs at practices where he was going off. J.J. McCarthy's a wild card in this game. First starts, has Justin Jefferson, has Hawk, has all the weapons there. He has the potential, but it's still his first game. Will that matter? That is the question. It may not. He can also get you yards on the ground. And that rushing floor might hit enough for you in fantasy football. More than not, a lot of you guys already made your starts, but you're also looking at DeAndre Swift here. Last year, 12.6 points per game. And last year against Minnesota, both games, little bit over 9 fantasy points in each of those, 9.5 and 9.9. And you're looking at what Minnesota did to running backs last year in PPR. They were well below average, averaging 13.4 points per game to the running backs. They got burnt once by Jahmyr Gibbs, week 18, and Jahmyr Gibbs again in week 7. Outside of that, did not break too much. Connor Williams got them. That's about it. They'll allow 10 points here and there. Outside of that, they're pretty solid. Swift here, almost 1,000 yards last year, had some moments last year, had a good run, and then it slowed down and had a rough start. I expect it to be similar this year. I bet he has a run of games where he hits somewhere down the line, and I bet you it bottoms out, And I bet you most of the season will look like weeks 10 to 18. I believe that's going to be most of his season, and I believe he will have a run like from weeks 4 to 8, somewhere down the line where you thought, man, I should have drafted him higher. I should have drafted him. And then the bottom falls out, and then you get back to like week 10 to 18 production where he's just a wide receiver too that's a little bit volatile. That's my projection for the year. I think that's rather safe and makes sense. I think 12.6 points per game, when you look at it in that light, sounds better than what that looks like. But you're probably going to catch some upside weeks. There's a chance you get a good game out of him here. But also, this could be a matchup where if these quarterbacks turn over the ball, could be dicey. What I am looking at Swift for is in PPR, catching some balls out of the backfield in the Ben Johnson offense. I think if we can rack up more than 3 targets in this game, I think he could be a sneaky ad. This is a different coaching staff. This is a different player. He is risky. He's DeAndre Swift. He's always going to be risky with the upside and downside. But I believe he's going to be using the passing game, and I think that can get you to RB2 results. I think the upside is hitting that touchdown, which he has potential, and racking up targets, which could happen, but also the targets could be going to the wide receivers here, DJ Moore. And you're also looking at Odunze, who's looking to assert himself more into the offense, who had a target share of around 19%, pushing 20%. And now we got Keenan Allen out, so he should be getting more targets this year. He had an ADOT of 14 last year, which means he's going to be getting deep targets. He's going to get pushed downfield. DJ Moore is going to get the short to intermediate. Those two are going to cook together. We're also watching Luther Burden and Olamide there to see what kind of routes and how many routes they're running, especially Luther Burden. He has a lot of upside. DJ Moore last year scored 24.9 PPR fantasy points against the Bears in week 12. Then after that in week 15, 15 points. So he can be productive against the Vikings. Different coaching staff, same quarterback. And then you're looking at what Odunze did. He did not do much, but he was sharing the work with Keenan Allen, and he's been looking good in preseason. This could be his moment where he splashes, especially if he brings in the deep ball. If he brings in the deep ball, that's something that could help us a lot in fantasy. They're right below league average when it comes to allowing fantasy points to wide receivers. That could adjust for this game, but they're right there. They also got some injuries on the defensive side of the ball where they could exploit, especially on the back end where Odunze could cook a little bit. That being said, when you look at what they did last year, they bend a lot, but they did not break hardly at all. They will allow double digits to the main wide receiver, but they did not break too much. Not many 30-point games, no 40-point games, only hitting 25 or plus here and there, 20 plus here and there. So they won't break too often, but they will allow some fantasy points. That's what that says to me, and there's potential here. I look for the targets to be concentrated at DJ Moore and Odunze. I think Luther Burden's going to get some opportunity to be on the field. He could be a sneaky option. I think Olamide's a sneaky option as well when you're looking at these wide receivers. When I think about Odunze, he has potential to splash. I think DJ Moore is a lot safer because he's going to be racking up targets. And these tight ends aren't safe. Colston Loveland has a lot of upside. In preseason, they were working in Kmet. We want to watch this for the future, but if you're shooting for upside as an upside gamble, Kmet, cool. He might stretch it down the seam a couple times. They do like to use both these tight ends per preseason. That could change here week 1. But very talented tight end, first-round pick. Has a lot of upside here that could splash on us. With that upside, remember, first game, he's a tight end. Usually takes tight end sometimes to develop. And you're looking at what Minnesota allowed the tight ends last year. Way less than league average, 4.1 fantasy points per game. They did break a couple times, but usually the top-tier tight ends who got a lot of volume in their matchups. Now you're looking at the Vikings. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Aaron Jones. I think he could be sneaky. We're looking at Jordan Mason. He did look good in training camp with this team, but Aaron Jones is good. He's stable. He's consistent. He's good in the passing game. I look for him to rack up catches, get some yards. Last year against the Bears, he scored 21.9 and also 18.6. He was productive against them. I look for him to get touches. If he doesn't, he could get you so-so RB2 production. I don't look at him as super safe. The Bears last year was very generous when it came to fantasy points to running backs. Jordan Mason needs to cross the goal line. because he's not going to usurp Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is going to be the man here. So he needs to cross the goal line with his touches, get some opportunities there, catch some balls out of the backfield, take advantage of every touch. I think Aaron Jones, I don't predict him to really go off, but I do think he will be helpful for you in fantasy football. He's a start for the week. He will give you some opportunity. If you went here RB, then went Aaron Jones later, you might be looking at a good score for you this week for fantasy football. Now you're looking at Justin Jefferson. Nobody's benching him. Nobody's benching him. Whether he scores 50 or 1, nobody's benching him. The analysis is you always put him in, and you're going to be doing that for the next 5 to 10 years. You're looking at the rest of the wide receivers here. You got Jalen Nailor. You got Adam Thielen. They are dice throws, and that's what they are because we got Jordan Addison out. Nailor could be getting some extra targets. Adam Thielen, last time when he was with the Vikings, he was top 5 among all wide receivers in red zone looks. Addison got it in week 12 with 30.2 PPR fantasy points. Jefferson, 20.3 against the Bears. The Bears less than league average last year when allowing fantasy points to wide receivers. But Justin Jefferson's a different breed, and you're looking at this offense last 5 to 10 years, top 5 in pace of play. They like to run a lot of plays. They like to get to the line of scrimmage and move it. And when you have a stud wide receiver like a Justin Jefferson, and even before him, a Stephon Diggs, where you know he's going to be open on the regular, you have the liberty of just get up and run it. You don't have to take the couple extra seconds to make sure everything's set, to make sure the coverage is where you want to be, so you know you're high to low, low to high, right to left. You know that Justin Jefferson, he's going to get it, and you're going to look his way and try to get it out as quick as possible. TJ Hockenson might eat today. He might eat today. The Bears give up fantasy points to tight ends. That was last year. That could change. But TJ Hockenson isn't going to change, and he doesn't care if they did. 18.4 against them last year and 10.2 in his last 2 matchups against the Bears. TJ Hockenson, you're starting him because you had him, you waited this long. What you going to do? Start Cole Kmet over him? No, you're not. You're starting TJ Hockenson. You're putting him in your lineup, and he has good potential like he always does. 12.3 points per game last 2 seasons. TJ Hockenson is a stud tight end. He's going to be getting a lot of work. He's going to be getting a lot of opportunity. He does need to cross the goal line. He did not do that last year, but he got an 18% target share. But it's a different quarterback, different opportunity. But still, they're going to look his way. Everybody knows TJ Hockenson is solid. Everybody knows to pepper him with targets, no matter who's the quarterback. McCarthy's going to look his way, and he's a young quarterback. Young quarterbacks, more often than not, look at the tight end. You're going to be seeing that with TJ Hockenson. He's very safe for this week. Has a lot of upside for this matchup. This is a matchup that could break, too. That could allow a lot of fantasy points to be scored. It could break the other way, too, and could be a mess. A big-time mess due to 2 young quarterbacks. It's up in the air. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Let me know who you need to score in the comments below. We'll drop that rally cap on you to help you out and give you that good juju. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. We're having fun with this. Videos non-stop to help you. Click that button. Stop missing out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.